How's it going, guys? So I am here with your review of The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 8, the season finale of this show. Let's just go off the bat. I won't go point for point here this time. I want to try a little bit of a different little format. I think I'm going to just kind of give my thoughts, because I would really recommend that you watch the episode. I don't think I'm going to give a plot synopsis for now on. I mean, pretty much what this episode is about is Mando teams up with the other Mandalorians with Bo-Katan and the other girl. The guy is absent. They capture the scientist for some intel. They find out about the Dark Troopers. And they get on board. Boba Fett creates a diversion as they can sneak onto the ship. And we've got Mando having a battle with one of the Dark Troopers. They're all lined up, basically. And he manages to defeat one of them. And the others, he ends up managing to activate the airlock. And they all get sucked out. And I laughed at this, but then I kind of thought, I was like, all right, well, that's a little bit lame, because they already did that remember when, with Bo-Katan and the rest of the Mandalorians. That was like in the third episode, I believe. Remember when they had all the stormtroopers get sucked out of the airlock, because they had accidentally forgot that they locked Mando and crew inside where they had the controls. So I was like, okay, well, they already did that joke already, getting sucked out the airlock, you know. But they end up coming back at the end. Mando confronts Gideon finally, and they have a pretty good fight. He explains the importance of the dark saber, which pretty much, this is the thing where a lot of people were saying, oh, you know, you got to watch the Clone Wars. And I will watch the Clone Wars. And I got criticism in the comments about this. You know, really, guys, it is possible to be a Star Wars fan without watching the Clone Wars. You know, it's been done, folks. Most people have not seen the Clone Wars. I know that's hard to believe, but yeah, you know, if you go back and you look at the ratings on Cartoon Network, not a lot of people watched it. Not a lot of people are invested in watching cartoons like that. You know, they normally don't get astoundingly high ratings. Don't get me wrong, people watched it, you know, enough to warrant more seasons of it. But most people have not seen it. So they gave that exposition. We understand that whoever is the keeper of the Darksaber, is the one who rules Mandalore. So obviously Gideon had defeated Bo-Katan in battle. That is why he now is in possession of the dark saber. So that was something obviously that took place off screen that you didn't see in the Clone Wars. So really, to get to the Clone Wars from there. Now I'm saying, I think if I watched, I like the Bo-Katan character. I like the actress that's playing her. I know that that's the voice actor. I probably would like it even more, I guess, if I had watched the Clone Wars, you know, leading up to this. So I'm not saying, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking the Clone Wars. Never said it was a bad show. I'm just saying it's not something, I just don't have a desire to jump into it, like, right this second. Like, I'm not going to turn, after I finish making this video, I'm not going to jump on Disney Plus and start watching all the episodes. Like I said, right now, I think the last episode I left off on was episode 6, and I haven't touched it in months. I had watched it, you know, at the request and recommendation of a friend, because he wanted to, like, talk about it with me, and he said, wait till you get to the Darth Maul stuff. But the Darth Maul stuff is, like, all the way in season 5. And I'm not one of those kinds of people that likes to, like, jump into a random episode, especially when there's continuity. But people say the continuity's all over the place, so I don't know. That's just so much. So I would have to watch it from the beginning just to appreciate everything. It's just how I am. But anyway, so they do a troll, because I guess they wanted you to be like, oh man, all the Dark Troopers already got sucked out into space. But they end up coming back. and Mando captures Gideon. They got him cuffed, and they're at the bridge, and all of a sudden, they've got this part where and I love that music for the Dark Troopers. I went and I found it on Spotify. Just an amazing track. I think besides the Mandalorian theme, which is a very good theme, by the way, I think that's probably my favorite piece of music. It just sounded so awesome. It's like electronic, and there's like towards the end of the track, if you watch on Spotify, it's the track called Trooper, I believe, or Troopers. Anyway, despite that, it is a great track, and this composer, what's his name, Ludwig, can't really pronounce his last name, but this guy's actually a pretty good composer. It's definitely a step below the stuff we have seen with John Williams. I mean, it's not even in the same league, but it's definitely better than the Rogue One score. I will say that there's more tracks that I have heard that even when there's been some nice ambient style music, it's even been superior to that. So with that said, though, this track was stand out. Like, if we could get more quality tracks like this, like that one really stood out to me, and that reminded me, like, there was some really good sound cues in there that I would love to hear in future episodes. Like, if they had to reuse any of those tracks, I mean, that sounded really good to me. So just like it seems like they're dead, like all these troopers, because Mando could barely get past one of them. Now he's got to fight through a whole army of them, and even though he's got his crew with him, it's obviously going to be ugly. But all of a sudden they see an X-Wing land in the docking bay on a security camera, and I thought that maybe that this was like a Sith. I was like, oh man, someone's gonna come to help Gideon and everything. He starts mowing down the Dark Troopers. He starts cutting through all of them. He just destroying all of them with the lightsaber. And then I saw the gloved hand, and like, I didn't want to believe it was Luke, but I was like, wait a minute. There's one gloved hand, and the other hand doesn't have a glove. Who else could that be? It's not going to be Anakin Skywalker, obviously, based on the timeline. So I'm like, I guess it would have to be Luke. Or maybe they want you to think it's Luke, but it ended up being Luke Skywalker. So, as he's on his way to the room, Gideon tries to shoot at Grogu, and that doesn't work. Mando jumps in front of it, and they end up, and then Gideon actually goes to commit suicide. He actually points the blaster right underneath his chin. I'm like, I'm not used to seeing that type of suicide stuff in Star Wars. I talked about that, especially, like I said, that third episode when they took over that ship. Remember? Yeah, but the guy electrocuted himself from the inside, and he also tried to do kamikaze even before that. We've seen some stuff that we're not used to seeing in the Mandalorian, in the Star Wars universe, and like, wow, I mean, like, that was, that, like, Gideon rather die than be captured by them, but now he's pretty much captured by them. So it is Luke Skywalker. He comes, he takes the hood off of his face, and it's CGI Luke. And I kind of figured this. I was like, well, is it Mark Hamill? Could it possibly be Mark Hamill? But, like, the timeline really wouldn't fit with the way how he looks. I'm like, okay, maybe they're going to attempt to make him look younger. I mean, they did try that in The Last Jedi when he appeared in spirit. They kind of colored his hair a little bit. But anyway, it's a CGI Luke. They use a different actor's body and a different voice that really didn't sound that Luke Skywalker-ish. Like, you know what I would have done? I would have went and found whoever the guy was that did the voice for Luke Skywalker in Jedi Outcast. Go get that guy, find him, do that voice, because that guy was probably as close to Mark Hamill as you're going to get. Or it would have been nice if, I don't know, maybe they could have contacted Mark Hamill and had him do the voice. Like, that I don't really understand. Like, I get it. Maybe his voice is a bit more gravelly, but I don't know. This guy could even do the Joker, so he could just like he could do the voice. Okay, but we're not gonna like, oh, he sounds a little too old. Like, no. I mean, this is something that you saw if you go back and you watch my Rogue One review where I talk about Tarkin and Leia, and I thought Leia looked better than Tarkin. And did he look better than Tarkin? Yeah, a little bit. So maybe they've improved the technology slightly, but like this didn't sit well with me. It didn't ruin the moment. Grogu ends up going with Luke, and I'm like, okay, so maybe this is okay. And I mean, it was okay. It was a good moment. It didn't detract for it, but like for that split second, like I had to go back and kind of watch the moment again, because I had to, like, first time I watched, I had to get close to the screen, like, that is CGI, right? So I mean, that was actually good that I did a double take. But I was like, I knew right away that that's why when he was about to take the hood down, I just had a feeling it was going to be a CGI thing. I was like, okay, maybe that little thing that Mark Hamill said online about wanting that other, what was his name? Sebastian Stan or something like that. I looked the guy up, and I looked at him and I was like, he don't really look like Mark Hamill to me that much, so I don't know why he wanted that guy to play him. But I was like, if you could get just someone close enough, like, what would be wrong with that? Casting another actor in the role, you know what I mean? Like, they could have just done something, I mean, just better than this, because it's like the eyes and the lips, it's just, that's what it mainly is. And plus, you look at like how the character sits on the background, and you could just see that it's not something that's really there. You could see it's something that's superimposed. And that's the thing, it's distracting. I know some people will probably obviously be able to sit here and not blink an eye and be perfectly fine with this. But I can't like sit there. I just think it would have been better if they just got another actor. Maybe if they made that guy up that he was saying, was it Sebastian Stan? Something like that. Anyway, that guy probably would be decent in that role. Like I said, it doesn't have to be the same, because they didn't even get Mark Hamill to do the voice. So why would it have mattered if they picked a different actor to play him? I think it would have been better than just superimposing a CGI image of Luke onto an actor's body. So, with that said, this was a great episode. It really was. And now we're going to turn our attention to the post-credit scene, which a lot of people were saying stole the show. And it was good. I mean, I don't know if I would say that it stole the show over this entire episode, but more people are talking about that. Basically, Boba Fett and Fennec go to Jabba's palace. And, Jabba's assistant, I remember the slug-headed guy, I don't remember his name. He's taking over. They've got a brand new slave girl, Twi'lek. They come in, they free the Twi'lek. Boba Fett kills that assistant, and they basically take over. And the last thing you see is he sits on the throne, and now he's now he's the ruler of Jabba's palace. Now, where they're gonna go from this, I don't know, but on the screen it flashes the Book of Boba Fett, December 2021, which is oddly enough when they announced season 3, about a month ago or a few weeks back. And the question that is on everyone's mind is so is that going to be the Mandalorian season 3? And I don't know, because it's the way how they ended this, there was nothing really left open as far as Mando. Season 1, You saw Gideon had survived, so you know, like, that threat's there. But now they've got Gideon captured. Grogu went with Luke, and that was Mando's mission, basically, that he was given, right? To go bring Grogu back to the Jedi. And I wasn't expecting it really to end that fast. Like, I didn't expect, Grogu and Mando's adventures to end. Like, we just finished finding out Grogu's name and all that. I don't know. I thought it would go on a little bit longer. Not to say that I'm disappointed, because, if they end up having new adventures and other characters, that would be great. But now they seem like they're going in the direction of Boba Fett. So maybe that is the intention. Maybe they're going to just kind of slide their way into a new show. Maybe it was a bait and switch. I don't really know. I'm kind of thinking that maybe they're going to have Mando cross over. It looked like that was going to be the title of the series, and not really, based on how the logo was displayed, it looked like it was its own show title. Or no, maybe they just showed you the subtitle. I don't know. They're leaving it open. Who knows when they're going to announce it. I'm sure there'll probably be some type of clarification on this, but it's an interesting idea, to have Boba Fett go back to Tatooine, just maybe like a few miles away from where he supposedly died at the Sarlacc pit. So yeah, I mean, there was definitely a lot to like about this. It was a great episode. The Luke thing, I mean, it was memorable. You could say what you want about it. I liked it more than disliked it, but like I said, the CGI stuff of, I don't think we're ready for, like, recreating actors. I'm not a big fan of doing this because it just doesn't look good enough. I mean, we play Star Wars video games for this type of stuff, to see the actors recreate. But when we watch the TV shows, we expect to see real actors. And I get it. This is one out of, dozens of actors that they've casted in the show so far. But for a major character like Luke Skywalker, I just think that they could have just thought a little bit better of this. Anyway, guys. Well, there you go. I guess that's going to be the last Mandalorian review that we do in a long time. And if they decide to jump into the Book of Boba Fett and skip over The Mandalorian, as it's titled, then so be it. We'll do the Book of Boba Fett reviews. Okay. So anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. Please click the bell so you get all notifications when I post all my new videos. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I want to thank all my patrons for your continued support. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you next time.